Hi everybody, I'm Melissa from 12 Tomatoes, and today I'm going to teach you how to spatchcock, or same thing, butterfly, a chicken. Today we have a whole fryer chicken that we placed inside of a deep dish, or cookie sheet in this instance, so that the juices can stay inside and not make a mess. The chicken's been resting for an hour, and during that time I've preheated the oven at 425 degrees. I have your basic set of kitchen shears in my hand here, and I'm going to be taking the spine on either side and cutting from back to front. I'm going to take these kitchen shears, so I just kind of go along the spine here, cut, 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 like so. And then I've got, you can see, open, that's the spine. You can even open up the cavity of the chicken so you can see what you're cutting. And it takes a little bit of strength, but don't be shy about it. Just keep cutting, nice and neat as you can, until the spine is out. Okay, and there you go. Take that, put the spine to the side. I'm gonna put my shears to the side here, and I'm gonna take the chicken, turn it over, and we're gonna make this lie as flat as possible on the pan. So now I'm gonna rotate the chicken around so that the sternum, the highest part of the chicken, is facing me, and I'm gonna take the flat of my palm, placing it on the sternum, and then putting our body weight down. So you get a bit of a crack. So you've really got that chicken nice and butterflied and splayed out for even cooking process. Then what I'm going to do is take a simple paper towel, and before I start seasoning this chicken, I'm going to blot as much of the moisture off of the chicken as possible. Now, why am I doing that? Because the less moisture, the crispier the chicken skin will be. That's for sure. Now it's time to season the chicken with a simple mixture of garlic powder, salt, cracked pepper, and paprika. The way to get maximum flavor when you're roasting a chicken is to divide the meat and the skin so that there's a pocket. And in that pocket, you'll put some of your seasoning. So I simply lift the skin, insert a couple fingers in between the meat and the skin, and then I'm gonna push my fingers gently along, loosening. There's kind of a thin, again, membrane skin layer in between the meat and the true skin. So I'm creating almost like a pocket. And I'll do that as much as I can without taking too much time. It's pretty easy to do. And removing any fat, of course, as well, as you go. And again, on the other side, so that's both sides of the breast, but I've got a pocket. And you can do the same thing with the dark meat, with the thigh and the leg. This is a great way to increase the flavor factor on your chicken. And you could put butter, if you like, inside of the chicken, but for this purpose, we're just gonna do a nice dry rub and some seasoning and then a little bit of olive oil. Now that I've created a pocket, I'm gonna take my seasoning that I mentioned, and I'm going to take a sprinkle of this, open up the pocket of my chicken, kind of drop it in there and spread it along. And then I'm gonna do the same on the other side. Kind of rub it along, again, the meat. Now, this is a bit of a messy process, and if you have little gloves at home, that's fine. If you don't like touching raw meat, some people get a little bit queasy about that. But don't let it stop you from really giving your meat that proper seasoning for the best flavor you can get. Okay, and then try to tighten the skin as much as you can, because it's really gonna create that crispy yumminess. Now it's time to season the skin. And it's almost like rain, where you're gonna hold your hand high up and sprinkle your fingers back and forth between each other with the rub so that you can get a nice even coating. It's very important to season things evenly. Nobody wants a bite of, you know, too much salt or too much seasoning in one bite. That's not a fun experience. Okay, so we're also gonna open up. You see how the insides of the meat are still a little bit naked. So we wanna make sure that we get that seasoning coated as well on each and every part of this chicken. We're gonna flip it and even do the cavity of the chicken, because it really does make a difference to give you nice flavor in every single bite. Okay, that looks pretty good there. And you might think, oh my gosh, so much seasoning. No, there's not that much salt, which is great. And you really, again, after you've seasoned and distributed this, you're gonna rub it. And the rubbing helps that seasoning go into the pores of the skin as much as possible. And then last little bit for good measure. And I'm not gonna rub it the last time, I'm just gonna kind of pat that. Now it's time for some olive oil. Now we're gonna use standard olive oil, but you can use any spray oil if you have some at home and just mist the outside of the chicken. Or you can take just a little bit of oil, I'd say no more than a tablespoon. It helps that this bottle has a spout. And you're gonna drizzle it on top the way I just did and kind of just pat the chicken, and only this side of the chicken, with the olive oil so that you can see that the chicken has a pretty good shimmer on it. But again, not too heavy. You don't want a greasy chicken. You want a nice, crisp, dry exterior with a moist interior, which is what you're gonna get with this process. Then what I'm gonna do is take the last bit of my seasoning and just kind of sprinkle it over the top here. I lose some of it when I'm patting the chicken with the olive oil, so just kind of want to make sure it's all even. And there you have it.
"12 tomatoes."